Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel, Butterfly Intuition, with me, Christina Marie. This is a new series that I'm launching on my YouTube channel. It's called True Crime Tarot. In each video, I'm going to be tuning into the energy of an unsolved case to see what wants to come through my psychic, intuitive channeling, just by tuning into the energy, as well as using any divination tool that I feel called to use. The first video of this series is going to be an unsolved case that has haunted me since 1996. It is the unsolved case of Jonbenet Ramsey. For those of you who are not familiar with her, she was a 6-year-old little girl who was found unalived in her parents' basement in her family home, and to this day no one has been brought to justice and been punished for this crime. So this case remains unsolved. There's always a clue, there's always a lead, but there's never been an arrest. So since day one, I was about 18 years old when this happened. I always felt that her mother did it. That was always my suspicion. And after watching the most current docuseries on Netflix, there is no doubt in my mind that her mother is responsible. That is just what I've always intuitively felt, and watching this docuseries, now that my psychic gifts are completely open, it just makes it more obvious and more clear. But of course, I am completely open to the truth, and I'm completely open to see what my cards have to say in this true crime tarot reading. So I want my ancestors, my spirit guides, the angels and spirit guides of Little Miss Jonbenet Ramsey, to help me tune into the energy of what really happened, to bring forth the truth, what wants to come through. So just as a disclaimer, I have no affiliation with the case, with the family, the investigators, the media. I have never spoken to anybody directly involved in this case. I have merely watched things and read things online. This video is strictly my psychic view on what I believe and feel happened. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. So let's get started. So I want to tune in to the energy surrounding the Ramsey family on that night, Christmas night, December 25th, 1996. So what was the energy surrounding the Ramsey family? This will be Jonbenet Ramsey, her father John, her mother Patsy, and her brother Burke. What was the overall energy of the family? All right, so I'm going to be using True Crime Oracle cards. So the first card we have is Cover Up, and we have Home. So this is the energy surrounding the Ramsey family on December 25th, 1996. So there was a cover-up that happened in the home. And what I feel and what I have picked up on is that what they said happened didn't really happen, that they covered it up. There were too many holes in their stories. And honestly, I feel that the police botched the investigation because they never searched the house. When they first arrived at the scene, they just completely believed the family and they didn't search the home. Perhaps if they searched the home, they would have found clues and evidence wouldn't have been tampered with. One of the red flags that they said is that when they got home from family activities, that she went right to bed. This was about 6:30 p.m. or 7 p.m. At night, they said she went right to bed because she was exhausted, but yet when they did the autopsy, they found undigested pineapple in her stomach. How could that be if she was asleep and somebody broke into their home and took her? That doesn't make sense. And the reason is because Cover Up and Home shows me that didn't happen. That 100% didn't happen. What I feel is because she was a beauty queen, I'm sure she was on a strict diet. She was on a strict routine, sleep schedule. Maybe she could only eat within a certain hours to maintain, making sure she didn't get bloated, she didn't gain weight. I'm not too familiar with beauty pageants for children, but I know for adult women, you have to maintain weight, you have to maintain a certain look, and I'm sure that transfers into child beauty pageants as well. So what I feel is that she was having a snack, pineapple and milk, with her brother, and the mother woke up and saw her eating the food, and she just became enraged because she had her daughter on this strict schedule. I feel she was trying to get her to stop eating, and I feel she went to hit her. And I see like Burke and Jonbenet sitting at a table, and I see Patsy yelling, and I see her smacking Jonbenet falling back and hitting her head, and I believe that is what caused the blunt force trauma to her skull. And at that point, I do believe they thought that she was no longer alive, and that is when they began to stage the crime. And that is where they staged the cover-up in the home. So if I can get a clarifier, please. I want to use my tarot deck now. Let's get a tarot clarifier to this. What exactly happened after they started to stage? So we have the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles shows me that they wanted to maintain the happy family, that this didn't happen in their inner circle, that somebody came in to disrupt their happy family. So I feel at that time is when the ransom note was decided to be written, and they have tested that ransom note, and I do feel very wholeheartedly that Patsy wrote that note. And she wrote that note because there's too many red flags with that note. Like, they were asking for a ransom of a certain amount of money that the father was getting as a bonus. The fact that nobody ever called the house to collect the ransom, that nobody ever tried to collect the ransom, that's a huge red flag that was ignored. And I feel the police, they always suspect the parents, or, you know, when a child's missing, they always suspect family, because usually it is. And but they let the parents run the show, and that's bananas to me why they would do that. So why would they let the family run the show? What can you tell us, please? Why did the police let them run the show? Because they knew the family. They were a respected family. And the police just allowed the family to run the show. The police just let them run the show. Yeah, they treated the family like they were celebrities. They were local celebrities in the town. Maybe they were just well known. That's why celebrity is coming through. But I feel very strongly that the police just let them run the show, that they honestly thought that somebody was going to call. But when the ransom call didn't come in, and usually the ransom call will come in within the first 12 to 24 hours, that's when they started to realize that they should have searched the house. Now, the interesting part of this whole thing is that the father went down to the basement and he found her. He knew exactly where to go. Come on, that's a red flag. And how that to me is like, you knew exactly where to go, and he picked her up and he carried her. So that was done on purpose. That was part of the cover-up, because he didn't want her to be found by anybody else, because there would be maybe DNA, or there would be something there. So he essentially tampered with evidence to save his wife, because he didn't want her to go to prison. So this investigation was botched by the police. This investigation was tampered with by the parents to save face, because there's so many red flags with the family in general. Like, when they were talking on TV, they would show like how they never cried. And like, Patsy was definitely on medication. They definitely use the media to sell a BS story. To me, it's very interesting that they never said her name. They always refer to her as our child or the child. The only time I ever saw Patsy visibly upset in an interview was when Geraldo Rivera did a mock trial on his show where he found them guilty. And I feel that she medicated herself to cope because she couldn't handle what she did. And they actually were indicted by a grand jury, but they never filed charges because there was not enough evidence to convict. But this is what I feel, and this is what I got at the end of the docu-series, because they did interview John, and I do feel that he is going to confess on his deathbed the truth. Whether it's going to be made public, it remains to be seen, but he is going to confess it to somebody. And eventually the truth is going to come out. The truth of what I'm picking up on is going to come out. I know that they have a new suspect, but honestly, come on, that's all fluff to keep the money and the attention coming in. Because I really feel wholeheartedly that there's a lot of regret and remorse. So much regret and remorse. See? Fraud. Everything that they said is fake. Nothing is true. And everyone knows it, but nobody can prove it. And that's why, the thing is too, another red flag was that the police was sharing information to the media. You don't do that. And this couple stood together. They bound together to cover the truth. They covered the truth. And Patsy took it to her grave, and John will too. They made people think there was somebody watching her, with some outsider, that they broke into their home, but the window was broken from the inside. They loved her, okay? They loved this child. She was a gift from God, but it was an accident of neglect and abuse. See? Accident. It was definitely an accident. It was definitely not intended. So I want to see what Jonbenet Ramsey wants to say. So I'd like to tune in to Jonbenet, to the energy. I do hear that she forgives her mother, her father, her brother, and I do feel she is with her mother. They found each other on the other side. So she wants everyone to know that the clarity of evidence. So the evidence is not clear. That there needs to be clear evidence. And because the evidence was never clear on what happened to her, that is why this case remains unsolved. She also wants people to know that there is a hidden message as to why everything happened the way it did. So she wants you to know to look for messages that are not immediately apparent. Analyze communication for underlying meanings of subtext. Discovering hidden message can provide valuable insights. So this card is confirming that me just listening to the interviews of her parents speaking about her death, the things that I was picking up on. I know that one of the detectives that they put on this case, Steve Thomas, wrote a book. I haven't read his book yet, but it is on my list of books to read for this year. But I will say this, is he right? And I'm hearing a yes, 100% a yes. But let's get a confirmation, okay? We're going to use tarot cards to get a confirmation. So is Steve Thomas right? Because his theory on what happened is definitely close to what I'm picking up on in this video. So, is Steve Thomas right? Alright, so we have the devil. So the devil does represent no. So a lot of the things that he is saying is not right. And a clarifier to that is the Eight of Wands, which represents a yes. So he is right in saying that the family is responsible, but his full theory as to what happened is not completely right, and that's why the devil's coming through. So there's also a guy who kind of brought himself on the case, Lou Smith, who maintained the innocence of the parents. So what's his deal? What can you tell me about him? What's his deal? So case file. So he's his role in being brought into this was to organize the case files and be the cipher of clarity, but he kind of formed his own opinion. And he didn't use the forensic detail the way he should have been. He just used the justice scale to believe that somebody else was involved. So it's not that he believes what he was saying, because I do believe that he has passed on, but the investigator's deduction, he came to a conclusion based on evidence. So there wasn't enough evidence to convict, and that's why he came to that conclusion. So is that a correct statement? We have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles represents yes. So he went by the evidence that the police had. The police did not have enough evidence to convict. That's why he feels that they were not directly involved. But my cards are telling me, what my intuition, my psychic abilities are telling me, is that it was an accident and it was covered up, but a confession is going to be made on his deathbed, and whether it's made public right away or in the future, I do feel the truth will come out one day. There is never going to be an arrest in this case. I feel that no one will be arrested, because if they were going to find someone to arrest, it would have happened a long time ago. So unfortunately, they have too many holes in this case, and I just feel that this was a learning curve for the police. This was the first murder, I believe, that ever happened in that town, and just learn from your mistakes so it doesn't happen again. You know, no judgment to those who were involved. I can't imagine being in this job day to day, but I'm just channeling what's coming through, that she's at peace. She's with her mother. She has forgiven her. They have cleared some things, so they will have another lifetime together where things will have a different ending. So I want to thank you for watching the first video in my True Crime Tarot series on this channel. The next video I'm going to be doing is the unsolved case of Madeleine McCann. So look for that. Make sure you have the bell notification set. Make sure you are a subscriber. And if you have any cases or anything unsolved that you would like me to tap into psychically, intuitively for this series, it doesn't have to be like an actual crime. It could be anything that's unsolved, like that you see on like Unsolved Mysteries. Drop a comment below, send me an email to let me know, and I will talk to you soon. Love and light to you.